Patricia Gibson.
Thank you, Mr Chair, and I want to begin by paying tribute to the Honourable Lady from Walthamstow for bringing this debate forward and for all the work she's done in this area. And as the Christmas shopping season gets fully underway, it's right that we debate the whole issue of debt, how consumers require to be protected in a fully regulated credit market, and the responsibility of government to ensure that this is the case. The high cost of some credit options, as we've heard, especially the buy now, pay later deals, is already causing untold misery for millions of consumers. And so far this year, shoppers have racked up more than £4 billion of outstanding debt, averaging a debt of £538 for each user. And research shows that 10% of shoppers plan to use buy now, pay later options this Christmas. Now, I'm quite sure that for some people, this option can be helpful to spread the costs of significant purchases, but it can also facilitate the building of unsustainable debt. So in order to help protect consumers, this sector needs to be properly regulated. An exemption in the law as it stands means that these payment plans are not treated in the same way as traditional credit agreements, so they're not regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. And therefore, the Woolard Review earlier this year found that many consumers didn't see buy now, pay later options as a form of credit, so didn't even consider arrangements as carefully as they might otherwise have done. And it's worth noting that buy now, pay later the sector was comparatively small, but the value of these transactions has nearly quadrupled between January and December last year to £2.7 billion. So it's easy to understand why the Woolard Review concluded that there is an urgent need to regulate all these products. The government's consultation into the regulation of the buy now, pay later market will close in January. But it must result in robust regulation of this sector. It must be brought into line with the regulation of other areas of the credit market, with interest at least no higher than that for payday loans, credit cards or overdrafts, and it should require similar credit checks as required for other credit products. And it's an appropriate moment for us to think about these things as we approach Black Friday and Cyber Monday, which is the commercial answer to in-store shopping online, apparently. The recent research from consumer organisation Which is very worrying, because it reveals that a strikingly high number of shoppers feel rushed into making Black Friday purchases, and many live to regret it, making purchases using credit or borrowing for making purchases they could not otherwise afford. And this has to be seen against the background of the way Black Friday is marketed, using the threat of regret with banners such as "Hurry" and "Don't miss out" and "Last chance" plastered around these so-called deals. And, of course, shoppers who are buying on credit pay extra for their purchases, regardless of how good the deal might look, once you factor in the extra cost of credit for that purchase, which can build up from month to month. It's also worth noting the seductive techniques used to encourage shoppers to splurge on Black Friday belie the fact that Black Friday deals aren't always the best of the year. In fact, many products can be found cheaper in the months before and after November, and according to Which, this is all hidden behind the marketing that is used for Black Friday. Of course, there are some who say, when we talk about debt, especially as we approach Christmas, there are some people who say, and I've heard them say it, that people should live within their means. But it's easy for those who are relatively well off to lecture those who don't have very much about living within their means. And of course, it's completely understandable that people, despite being financially pressured, still want to buy presents for their children at Christmas. Of course they do. But if they do, the government has a duty to ensure that all consumers are buying in a fully regulated credit market with all the protection they need should they find themselves overwhelmed with debt. The government has a duty to ensure that all aspects of the credit market is fully regulated and fit for purpose. But I need to say at this juncture as well that many families are not forced into debt because of Christmas shopping, but because their everyday household budgets are being squeezed more tightly every single day. We mustn't assume that unsustainable debt is down to non-essential purchases, Many households are falling into debt to pay for essentials like the gas bill or groceries. And this applies not just to those who are unemployed, but also to that shameful phenomenon, the working poor, people who go out to work every single day to provide for their families, but simply do not earn enough to make ends meet to pay for essentials, but have been met with a cut of over £1,000 per year to their universal credit. We are sitting on a debt time bomb, and it's not due to profligacy, but because so many people have suffered an income shock through no fault of their own. And for these people, sadly, levelling up sounds very hollow in their ears as they face the destructive misery of debt, which every day threatens to engulf them. The cost of living is rising, and it's throwing many people into hardship. And this will include many people who have always been able to manage in the past. The UK household debt crisis is not going away, it's actually getting worse. So the government has to ensure that the buy now, pay later market, which we've heard about so much today and the difficulties with it, we must ensure that it's subject to the robust regulation consumers have a right to expect. And this must be expedited so that next year, next Black Friday, anyone who does turn to any kind of credit can do so with much more protection and confidence than they are currently able to do. Now, some people have estimated that this sector may not even be properly regulated until as late as 2023. And that is deeply concerning, and I hope today that the Minister will commit to expediting this regulation as soon as possible and as a matter of priority, so that we can save yet more people from experiencing the severe misery of debt without the protection that they should be entitled to expect.